Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and we just learned so much about Marvel Studios' actual plans from a press roundtable Kevin Feige did this weekend with our colleagues from The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, Collider, The Wrap, CBR, and other outlets whose reporting work we so greatly appreciate here at New Rockstars. And it might be because Kevin Feige is not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, but this studio head had some tea to spill, and he shared details about Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, X-Men. He spoke about the Kang situation for the first time ever, Blade, Marvel's streaming woes, and so much more. I feel like I have a clearer sense of Marvel Studios' 7-year plan than I've had in years. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything we learned, the 20 big takeaways from Kevin Feige's press conference roundtable. And I am wearing this really fun, fantastic Bricks shirt that you can get at our merch store, nerdriot.shop. It's one of the best ways you can support what we're doing here at New Rockstars. All right, 1. Kevin Feige has a 7-year plan that will take Marvel Studios to 2032. According to Deadline, Kevin Feige said it's traditionally a 5-year plan. It's a 7-year plan. I think it goes to 2032. It's on magnets, so it can move around. And he said that while pointing to a big conference room where Marvel Studios famously has their plans behind several locked doors. What we know so far is that after Fantastic Four First Steps, the next Marvel movie will be Spider-Man Brand New Day, coming in July 2026. Avengers Doomsday will be in December 2026. Avengers Secret Wars will be in December 2027. There will be a Marvel Studios X-Men movie directed by Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier that will be coming in 2028 or later. Other movies in the mix are Black Panther 3, Doctor Strange 3, Deadpool and Wolverine 2, Blade, of course, and then probably 5 years or so of other mutant saga stories that could culminate in Avengers vs. X-Men in 2032. 2. Marvel Studios plans to reboot singular timelines, including possibly recasting Tony Stark after Secret Wars. According to Deadline, Kevin Feige was asked if there are plans to recast the core Iron Man, Captain America, etc. on the big screen, and Feige said yes and no. He said he sees a star like Chris Hemsworth still in his prime to play Thor, and even cherishes the return of actors like Tim Blake Nelson, who played Marvel characters years ago. But yes, in the long term, like with many other storied movie franchises, Marvel classic superheroes will get new faces. He was referring to how many points people thought no one else other than Sean Connery could play James Bond, yet here we are with several more James Bonds. And Kevin Feige was asked when we'll start seeing this, and he said X-Men is where that will happen. He also said post-Avengers Secret Wars, there is a plan to, quote, reset singular timelines and reboot the MCU. Now, by reset singular timelines, we have to ask which timelines. Probably the X-Men timeline, maybe the 616 universe, but I think what he's saying is all of these universes as one rebooted MCU. Feige initially conceived of the Phase 1 MCU as pretty much a cinematic Ultimates universe that was really the popular Marvel universe in the mid-aughts. That was the comics universe where Nick Fury looks like Sam Jackson. So I think he really wants to reboot the MCU as like a fresh universe where all the important people are alive again, and that includes Tony Stark. However, Kevin Feige set aside the idea of seeing Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine again, and that's why I think we're going to see a Deadpool and Wolverine 2. 3. Marvel's movie after Secret Wars will be a genre that the studio has never done before. During this roundtable, a reporter asked Feige about how often Marvel plans to make films that focus on a single character like Shang-Chi rather than a giant team-up film, and Feige said, quote, we were talking about a structure of an upcoming post-Secret Wars movie that I won't name, but I will say, like Shang-Chi, it's getting back to what genre haven't we done and want to do, and how could this movie be that genre? We would focus on a singular storyline by embracing a certain genre that we haven't seen in a while. And I am now wondering, could that genre be a youth coming of age story? Like a mutant saga origin story for one of these young mutants like Kitty Pryde or Aurora Monroe. Technically, Marvel has done coming of age before with John Watts' Spider-Man trilogy, but those were Sony productions and Kevin Feige didn't develop the story as much with his inner brain trust. 4. Stephen McFeely is still the main writer on Avengers Doomsday script, but Michael Waldron is helping. Waldron was the original writer on Avengers 5 and Avengers 6 and was the head writer on Loki Season 1. The Hollywood Reporter ended the article dropping this information. This adheres with other reporting we've done showing how important the TVA will be as a setting and concept of Doomsday. And no one gets the Time Variance Authority better than Mike Waldron or Eric Martin, Justin Benson, Aaron Moorhead, Kate Herron, and Kaiser Farhani. And really, based on what we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine, I don't think anybody gets the TVA without those people being in the room. 5. Marvel Studios X-Men will focus on younger characters. According to The Wrap, Feige said, I don't want to talk too much about X-Men because that's still a ways away. But you look at what the X-Men comics have always been, and they have been young, and they have been a place to tell stories about young people who feel different, who feel other, and who feel like they don't belong. That's a universal story of mutants, and that is sort of where we're going. So if I'm reading him right, it sounds like Feige is going in the direction that I thought he would by making the mutant saga a mutant academy approach, kind of like Hogwarts of the MCU. Really give the MCU more of a home-based campus and a way to tell these stories about tribalism and youth alienation, and it also leads me to believe that the real villains of the mutant saga are probably going to be humanity and forces like the Friends of Humanity, Bolivar Trask, Senator Kelly, like the American government. Now, we already have young mutant characters in the MCU, Kamala Khan, Billy Kaplan, his brother Tommy coming to Vision Quest, but then we're probably going to focus on characters like Jubilee, Kitty Pryde, Bobby Drake Iceman, Roberto da Costa Sunspot. Just don't be surprised when names from the New Mutants film come back as the MCU freshman class of mutants. 6, and this one's a weird one, because Kevin Feige claims that they were thinking about replacing Kang with Dr. Doom even before Jonathan Majors' assault charges. Kevin Feige said, quote, "We had started even before what had happened to the actor happened. We had started to realize that Kang wasn't big enough, wasn't Thanos, and that there was only one character that could be that, because he was that in the comics for decades and decades. Because of the Fox acquisition, we finally had it, and it was Dr. Doom. So we had started talking about Dr. Doom even before we officially pivoted from Kang. And in fact, I had started talking with Robert Downey Jr. about this audacious idea before Ant-Man 3 even came out. It was a long plan that we had to take one of our greatest characters and utilize one of our greatest actors." So here's my take on this. I don't know if I buy this, or at least I don't buy the way people are interpreting it. Because if you read it one way, it sounds like Kevin Feige might be doing a bit of historical revisionism. Like, I believe that they might have been thinking about bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Dr. Doom, in addition to keeping Kang as the primary antagonist for at least Avengers 5. Like, there's no way before Quantumania came out, anyone at Marvel Studios was talking about, maybe we shouldn't have Kang be our big bad. They were clearly setting him up to be the big bad, not just from Quantumania, but as the primary antagonist for Loki Season 2. And they even kept him in Loki Season 2. Like, for the first half of 2023, Avengers 5 was still going to be called Kang Dynasty. Also, there's another way to read this, that like maybe they were planning on replacing an up-and-coming black actor just by bringing Robert Downey Jr. back. I don't think that was Kevin Feige's intention to come across saying that, and I don't think he realized what he sounded like by saying this. So really, I think what had happened is they were planning on keeping Kang as the primary big bad, but they also had a secondary plan of having Robert Downey Jr. also come back as Dr. Doom, and that we're gonna have multiple villains in the multiverse saga. Like, whatever the plans were with Robert Downey Jr., they weren't crystallized at that point. Today's video is sponsored by Blue Chew. One of the movies we're excited about this month is Fantastic Four: First Steps, and part of that is because we're stoked about The Thing. And in honor of Marvel's most rock-hard hero, we're here to tell you about Blue Chew, which can help make your thing rock hard too. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Those erection-enhancing tablets help men achieve stronger, harder, and longer-lasting erections for sexual activities. It's super easy too. Just sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. You can take Blue Chew anytime, day or night. That way you can plan ahead or be ready for whenever an opportunity arises. It's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. If you're skeptical or don't think you need it, try it free for a month and see. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, your first month of Blue Chew is free. Just use the promo code Rockstars at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's global mission to make better sex the dominant drive of modern society. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety information. Huge thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring this revolution. 7. Blade will be set in the modern day. When Kevin Feige was asked about Blade, he jokingly responded, "The obstacle was Ryan Coogler called and said, we'd love some costumes for Sinners. And we said, take them, man. He's our good friend. Take our costumes. We'll hold off on the movie." Yes, he was just joking about that. But Kevin Feige confirmed there had been 4 different takes of the Blade movie that had been developed over the times. 2 were in the early 20th century. 2 ideas were not in the early 20th century. And that Marvel Studios has now landed on modern day. And yes, Mahershala Ali is still attached to the movie. According to Deadline, Kevin Feige said, "We didn't want to put a leather outfit on Mahershala Ali and have him start killing vampires. You could start to have a good script and make it a great script through production, but we didn't feel confident we could do that on Blade. We didn't want to do that to Mahershala and didn't want to do that to us." Okay, I still have questions. 8. Spider-Man Brand New Day will be a proper Spider-Man era that will make him a street-level hero. According to Collider, Feige said, "I think there was a promise at the end of No Way Home that for as sad as it is that Peter is forgotten by everyone in his life, we are seeing for the first time in the Tom Holland Spider-Man stories him being a proper Spider-Man, him being by himself, dedicated to saving the city and dealing with, for lack of better terms, street-level crime as opposed to world-ending events." And yes, adding John Bernthal to come back as Frank Castle feels like a way to further ground Peter Parker as street-level. Kevin Feige also told CBR that Peter Parker teaming up with the Human Torch Johnny Storm is now, quote, "in the realm of possibility." 9. Miles Morales will not be in the MCU anytime soon. When Kevin Feige was asked where Marvel was in the development of a live-action version of Miles Morales, Feige responded, that is nowhere. Feige added that Morales' fate was in Sony's hands. Quote, Sony has their brilliant, genius, incredible Spider-Verse animated franchise going, and until that finishes, we've been told to stay away. So Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse will be coming out in June 2027. So we're gonna have to revisit that conversation on the other side of that. 10. Kamala Khan will return in the MCU. According to The Wrap, Feige said he's extremely proud of Iman Vellani's performance as Kamala Khan in both the Marvels and her Disney Plus series. He called Vellani, quote, one of the greatest bits of casting we have ever done alongside Tom Holland. And while he remained coy about Marvel's future plans, he suggested that the poor performance of the Marvels would not mean that Ms. Marvel would be kicked to the curb. Quote, I think Iman is awesome, both in real life and the show, and I can't wait to see her in the future. He extended that possibility of seeing other characters introduced to the MCU since Avengers Endgame and other films and TV shows beyond the next two Avengers films. 11. Young Avengers is still a possibility. When it was brought up how we last saw Kamala Khan with Kate Bishop in the post-credit scene of the Marvels, Feige was asked a question about whether a Young Avengers film or TV series or even TV special presentation could be coming, and Feige said potentially. In that case, it comes down to where's the best story and where's the best strange alchemy. Who would be fun to see them with? Each other, because that's where the Young Avengers are, but also mixing it up more. And I think the reason Young Avengers and Kamala Khan are still in the mix is because Kevin Feige actually sees some of these characters as fitting in with the X-Men mutant saga plans. 12, and this one kind of broke my heart, Mephisto, Clea, and Arrows might never return. According to Variety, Feige was a little dodgy when he was asked about Charlize Theron's Clea, Brett Goldstein's Hercules, Harry Styles' Star Fox, and Sacha Baron Cohen's Mephisto, the possibility of them showing up ever again. And Kevin Feige said, quote, do you want to see them again? A reporter apparently followed up saying, you put those characters in your things. That's a promise that they would return at some point. And then Feige kind of danced around that and said, well, you know, we brought back Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stearns like 17 years later. He said, that's fun to me. So let's talk again in 12 years and see who comes back. Okay. 13. Marvel Studios will be scaling back further to release one live action series per year. Whoa. So Kevin Feige admits that they've made too many streaming shows so that keeping up with all of it felt like homework. The Hollywood Reporter tabulated from the first Iron Man in 2008 through Endgame in 2019, Marvel produced around 50 hours of screen storytelling. In the 6 years since Endgame, the number jumped to an astounding 102 hours of movies and television, 127 hours if you include animation, and we here at New Rockstars have done similar math in our videos, and yeah, this checks out. Feige said, quote, that's too much. He said he was proud of WandaVision and Loki, but, quote, it's the expansion that is certainly what devalued that output. It was a big company push, and it doesn't take too much to push us to go, people have been asking for Ms. Marvel for years, and now we can do it? Do it. Oscar Isaac wants to be Moon Knight? Do it. There was a mandate that we were put in the middle of, but we also thought it'd be fun to bring these to life. Leading us to number 14, Kevin Feige admitted that too many shows hurt Thunderbolt's box office. According to Variety, Kevin Feige said, Thunderbolts I thought was a very, very good movie, but nobody knew that title, and many of those characters were from a TV show. Some audiences were still feeling that notion of, I guess I had to have seen those other shows to understand who this is, but if you actually saw the movie, that wouldn't be the case, and we make the movie so that's not the case, but I think we still have to make sure the audience understands that. So he said it's really a marketing question and just like a conception and pitch of the movie. 15, Daredevil Born Again Season 2 will not reference the events of Thunderbolts. According to Collider, Feige said, I think allowing a TV show to be a TV show is what we were returning to. And Feige was then asked whether or not the events of Thunderbolts would affect Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and Feige bluntly responded, no. 16. Kevin Feige loved James Gunn's Superman. Feige pointed to Superman's success to explain why he doesn't buy that superhero movie fatigue is real. He said he actually texted James Gunn after seeing the movie. I love how you just jump right into it. You don't know who Mr. Terrific is? Tough, you'll figure it out. You don't know what this is? Just go. This is a fully fleshed out world. However, number 17, Kevin Feige wants the MCU to reflect our world. Variety quoted Feige as saying, Marvel represents the world outside our window. I've always said it, before DEI and woke became a thing, and after DEI and woke became a thing. Are we after? I don't think so. He said, it's not Gotham City and Metropolis, this is New York and LA. And yes, there's also Wakanda and Asgard, but it's made up of the people who make up our world. I think this is actually one of the most interesting quotes he said all day, because it's a direct contrast to what James Gunn has said recently about the DCU being an escapist fantasy world where there is not a New York. Despite respecting James Gunn as a filmmaker, he clearly wanted to win this headline. Now, this is not to say the DCU MCU can't touch on themes of diversity just because it's set in a fictional universe, but I do think Kevin Feige might be trying to say the MCU will more directly comment on the real-world issues, which could become a big deal in the mutant saga. 18. Kevin Feige is still okay with changing movie scripts during production and doing extensive reshoots. Now, Feige said Marvel has never started a movie without a full script, which, all right. But he also added that he's never been satisfied with a script the company has had. Like, he has very high expectations. He said, quote, "I've never been satisfied with a movie we've released." And the term he used was plussing. Like, he said the company likes to plus a movie at every turn. And he said there's plussing happening every day on the Avengers Doomsday set, and it's amazing to watch because what those filmmakers, those actors, both the ones who are playing these characters for the first or second time and the ones playing them for the 10th or 12th time are the best of the world at it and know these characters so well. So if they have an idea, you want to listen to it and you want to adjust to it and you want to improve it. I wouldn't want to change that. Okay. 19. This is a small, weird one, but it's kind of fun. The stars of the 1994 Roger Corman produced Fantastic Four movie cameo in Fantastic Four First Steps. Kevin Feige said this in the interview, and I was able to see the movie on the weekend. I will point out every cameo in this movie in our Easter egg breakdown coming on Friday. And number 20, Kevin Feige is not leaving Marvel Studios. The Hollywood Reporter asked about the rumors of studio head succession that is being buzzed around Hollywood. Kevin Feige wasn't clear on how long he would stay at the company, but he quietly admitted he has about 2 years, a little less, on his contract. And he said, "Do I want to be making big movies for big audiences in 10 or 15 years from now? Yes, absolutely. That's all I want to do. Marvel's a great way to do that for me right now, but I hope to make big movies for lots of people forevermore." That's a summary of all the crazy headlines we learned from Kevin Feige's roundtable last Friday. Comment down below with what you were most surprised to hear, and a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Paulo Bianca, who supports us at the executive producer level. Follow me at Erik Voss and subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.